Music, news, information, advice. GFM, GFM, GFM.
Good evening, welcome to Community Link Show here on GFM 96.6, and you'll have me, Althea, in the hot seat taking you through to 7 o'clock with the usual music, news, information and advice. Right, Lorna, so welcome to GFM Studios. You've been before, but you're here to talk to us today about the City Vision, because last time you came in, you did say that you would come back and talk to us about the consultation. Do you want to explain to our listeners what City Vision's all about?
Yeah, I mean, last time I was here, we were sort of gathering the information base, and it was time people could chip in with ideas to what they thought should be included in it. And now I'm coming back to you today, and we have sort of the draft document in hand. We've been out consulting on it since the end of May time. We'll be out till the end of August, so there's still plenty of time for people to have their say. The document comprises of like the key issues which Gloucester faces, and how we, not just the City Council, but as the police, the PCT, business community, the voluntary sector, how we collectively can go about trying to solve some of those problems in the next 5 to 10 years. So it's quite a long-term strategy, but these things don't change overnight. So it's how we can work towards it together. So not just the City Council on its own.
Okay, for the untrained ear, just to remind us what the PCT is.
Sorry, that's the NHS, so your health service.
That's it. Okay, then. So it's just every sort of service, and you said the voluntary sector as well.
Yeah.
So every service sort of provider in Gloucester City.
Yes, Gloucester City.
Okay, they'll come together to deliver on this plan, so it will cover things like health then, because it's the primary care trust, the police, so...
antisocial behaviour, but also designing out crime. So when we're looking at building new developments, which is going to be happening in the city centre, how we can tackle problems before they arise. Right. It's also going to be covering things like educational attainment in the city and trying to raise that up, working more with our young people and trying to put back some of the activities that may have been cut recently, so working with the voluntary sector to see how we can deliver on some of those. Also around the evening economy, I mean, you walk into the city centre in the evening, there's so little to do. How can we entice investment in, link it up to the quays? How can we look at improving our economy that way? Skills, jobs for people, local jobs for local people. So it covers such a vast, broad range of various different things, everything you need to make a healthy community. So this is, as I said, our first stab. This comes from what people have told us, what our partners would like to see in it. But we're now going back out to you guys and say, have we something they missed? Is there something really obvious that we don't know about that should be in here? So every word in the document is up for grabs. And what we really want, what the consultation is about, is coming up with a statement for the city. So we know these are our issues and these are the things we need to do about it, but what does Gloucester want to stand for? So we're looking for sort of a tagline for the city. So when you think of Gloucester, you think of this thing, whether it's being famous for our tourism, being famous for our sort of
culture.
Took the word out of my mouth. What is it we want to stand for? So that's what we're asking people to come up with, really. What one thing could Gloucester really aim towards? What is our vision for the city for the next 10 years? And then underneath that will be how we go about achieving it. Okay,
so local people then, they're going to be invited to participate in this consultation. And how much influence can they have on this consultation?
For me, I think every word in this document is up for grabs. I think if there's something in there you're not happy about, something you think should be included, this is the time to really have a genuine say in what you think this document should be saying. And I'm passionate about that. If you have your say and you really feel strongly about something, then that should be reflected, because this is a document for residents, which we're going to be delivering for residents. So it's really important people have their voice, because it will be listened to.
Okay. 10-year strategy, when is it due to commence, that strategy?
It should be implemented by the end of this year.
Right, okay.
So run until the end of 2021.
Right, so the consultation ends, when did you say?
End of August.
Right,
so,
and then you start looking at setting some priorities based around the outcomes of your consultation.
Yeah, so by the end of the year we'll have the vision statement for the city about where it wants to go. We'll have a good idea of the priorities. We're asking people, out of all the priorities we have, which ones they'd like to see implemented first. So we'll start working on those and drawing up sort of the action plans that sit underneath this public side of the document. There'll be groups set up to help deliver, so from different partnerships, and residents can get involved in those as well if they wish.
Okay, so opportunity there to have further influence on the action, on the strategy, and then subsequently action plans arising from that. If people are interested and they're listening and they think, I want to be able to have my say in what's going to happen in Gloucester in the next 10 years, what do they need to do?
Well, if they've got internet access, they can visit www.gloucesterpartnership.org.uk. On the front page there's an orange box which you can click on to take you through the questionnaire, but if you click down on the side it says City Vision Consultation. That's where you can find the document to download. And also if you're working in the city but you don't live in the city, there's a visitor survey, so even residents or any people who work in the city can have their opinion heard as well. If you don't have access, you can find hard copies of the document at the Guildhall or the Tourist Information Centre or any of the libraries around the city, so there are hard copies available. And also at the City Council offices you can come and request a copy. We will be at the Guildhall on the 26th of July, raring to listen to people's feedback, so we'll be there between 11 and 3, so come down and have a chat with us face to face.
So 26th of July at the Guildhall for people who want to come down and have face-to-face discussions. Yeah. Okay, because I was going to ask you if you're running any workshops for the sort of hard-to-reach groups.
We're doing various different things around the city. A lot of them have been and gone already because it's May time, but if you are a group who would like us to come along, we're happy to do presentations at any group. We're doing some work with young people, so if there's any youth groups who'd like to get involved in that, we're doing sort of video diary work and some Facebook work. So if there's anything, if there's any groups you want to get involved in that, please get in touch with me.
Right, that's good.
If you want to drop me an email, you can get me on community.strategy@gloucester.gov.uk. That's community.strategy@gloucester.gov.uk. Drop me an email on there and we can talk about any issues you have, whether you want to get more involved. And you can also call me on Gloucester 396983.
Right, let me get that down. 396983. So a number of ways of speaking to you and asking you to come along and do information, a presentation to groups. Have you done any presentations yet to groups?
Yeah, we've done quite a lot. We've been at Gloucester for 3 different days. Gloucestershire College, sorry. Pardon my jargon. We've also been doing some work with G15, the schools group. We've been to the University of the Third Age and also to St Oswald's. So we've got the younger and the older range. We've been in King's Square, we've been around the city at different community events. I'm here today because we'd like to talk to more of the Barton and Treadworth community and have their say. We were at Asda the other day, but we didn't get many people, so we would like to try and entice you out and to come and speak to us, because your opinion will actually shape this document, and I'm passionate about that, so your voice won't be ignored.
Okay, so have you had much response at the moment from citizens of Gloucester rather than the partners?
Yeah, we're getting on towards 700. I'd like to see well over 1,000 at least, so it's a proper representation of the city.
Yeah, because what's the population of Gloucester City now?
It's just over 100,000.
God, it's doubled in the last 20 years, isn't it?
Yeah, it's set to grow and grow and grow. So we really want the responses we have to be really representative of the diverse communities we have in Gloucester. We've targeted gay pride in different areas, so we've got a lot of people from different backgrounds already, which is really positive and something we haven't done before as a city council. But it's just pushing on and making sure we get as many responses as possible.
Yeah, can I ask Lorna, because as I was saying before, that we do try to encourage people to get involved in public life and to involve themselves in consultation because of the importance of it. You know, it's always been difficult to engage BME communities in consultation for a number of reasons. Have you had any feedback from any BME communities?
I think when I was looking at the responses the other day, it's only between 3 and 5% of the respondents have been from the BME community. So that's not representative of the population of Gloucester, so we'd like to see that percentage much higher.
And there I am saying to you about jargon. BME, Black and Minority Ethnic Communities, I'm really sorry about that. Yeah, so you have had some responses, but you need more, because it was, what's the percentage?
It's 9.8%.
Is it 9.8 now, is it?
So
right.
there's I think at least 80 odd languages spoken in the city, so many diverse communities here. We'd like to hear from as many as possible during the consultation period to make sure this document everyone can see themselves in this document, and it's reflective of what everyone thinks Gloucester should be.
Sure. So the 6.something% down Gloucester's black and minority ethnic community. So, let's engage in that consultation, get involved, and attend the various events, or ask for your group a presentation to come to your group, and you can also get involved that way, because it does need to reflect your views, and you can't moan after and say, well, I don't like you. If you don't like it and you didn't get involved, it's your own tough luck. Here's an opportunity to say, have your say and see some of that come to fruition. So, here on GFM 96.6. Well, going back to City Vision then, so you consultation ends in August, you said, and then it'll move into the action planning stage.
Yeah.
And that you, at that stage, you'd also like to involve residents of Gloucester.
Yes.
Okay. So how are you going to go about sort of selecting your panel for that, your action groups for that?
Well, there's a board which oversees the City Vision process, which has various different people on it. We've got people from the voluntary sector, so we've got somebody from the African Caribbean Society on there. They will set about looking at how best to deliver it. There'll probably be sort of task and finish groups, which is, a group of people coming together to do a task, and when it's finished, that group will close or move on to the next project. With involving residents, so we haven't got that formal process in line yet. Normally we've gone through neighbourhood partnerships, but we realise that's just a small group of people, and there's lots of other amazing voluntary sector groups out there, or groups of residents who are passionate and want to make a difference. And I think it's important that if you've got an idea for your area or a project that you'd like to see come to fruition, it's worth having the conversation now and seeing how it could fit into the City Vision, or how we might go about delivering it. So any idea is a good idea at this stage.
Okay, can I just ask a bit about, you said about the Afro-Caribbean Association representative on the
partnership board.
On the partnership board. How is that individual then going to be able to reflect the views, or indeed the work of the partnership board, back to the Afro-Caribbean community? How's that going to work?
Well, she's there as a voluntary sector rep, so she goes to the voluntary sector forum, which represents the 200 odd voluntary sector groups in the city. They've elected her onto that board, so she reports back to them, and their news filters down through that section. I'm not sure how she filters back directly to the African Caribbean community directly. That's maybe something I'd have to go away and ask and come back, but I know she's very active in the community.
So it might be something that would be useful, because one of the ways that you can get the information out clearly is by using radio as a medium, and it might be worth considering, not teaching your job or anything, but what I'm saying is there are ways in which we can get the information out to a wide range of people, and quite quickly, as you can see, by sitting here and just talking, and people listening and absorbing that information. So is there opportunities for other organisations to get on board with that?
Yeah, definitely. And I'm a big advocate for GFM, and the more people I think come on and speak to you guys and spread that message out, the better. I know some of my partners have been on before talking about sort of safety and different elements, so it's maybe joining that up and making sure people realise that we are here, we are listening, and you can come and speak to us. Okay,
with that I'm not having a dig at the partnership, just want to get a bit more information on that one. Which partnership is it that because we have music of black origin obviously is played here, and people might want to have express an interest in the work that is being fed through the Afro-Caribbean Association representative on the voluntary sector forum. It goes on and on and on and on, doesn't it? But if people might want to have a conversation with her and backwards and forwards, who do we need to, who's the sort of chair or the lead on that board that we need to put our issues through, our information through? Yeah, if you have any issues concerning anything, you can contact me in the first instance, or the chair of the board is Paul James, the leader of the council. Oh, right, okay. He was in here last week, actually, with me, Yeah, he's the chair of the main board. There's also a smaller working group board, which is chaired by Ahmed Goga of Gloucester Works. Okay, So there's various different ways of accessing that board, either through the chairs or through myself, who has access to both of those people. Okay, and if we want to be able to understand a bit more about the structure, where do we get that information? On the website. It's on there? Yeah. There's a structure diagram on there, or if you
don't have internet access, you can call the City Council's contact centre number and they'll get put through to me and I can post anything
Is
out.
it the City Council's website?
No, it's a separate website.
What's the website address?
The www.gloucesterpartnership.org.uk. So the council is sort of the main partner in that, but we are a separate body, so we've got our own website and things.
The lead agency?
Yeah.
Right, okay then. Oh, because it's a city, isn't it? Yeah. All right, so have you got the county? Is the county on that partnership as well? County Council?
They are involved, yeah. So we can't do some of the things we want to do in the city without them, sort of around education, entertainment, improving transport links. So they're an important partner as well.
Sure.
But it's the city taking a stand for itself and saying what it wants to do for the city. So it's trying to be pushing that relationship a little bit. So we're telling them what we would like and opening those conversations.
Yeah, because Gloucester, it is a very old city, isn't it? And you'll have some well-established residents who've been around and seen the changes and think, oh, you know, for example, not a lot for a woman of my age to do in Gloucester City of an evening, particularly at the weekend. And it's obviously something that I would feed into it.
Yeah.
And having lived here all my life and watched it grow and decline and grow and decline. So are you getting a good feedback from a range of ages as well?
Yeah, I think the range of age has been the most impressive. We've had a lot of younger people, we've had a lot of older people, and the working age is the growing population in the city, and I think that's been reflected quite well as well through the work we're doing. And what you've just said is something we've heard from many people. When you leave work at 5 o'clock, there's nowhere to go for a drink, there's nowhere to go for a meal with friends, or you end up going to the same old places, the same old chains. So what can we do to combat that?
Okay. And
there's no easy solution to it, but it's something we're tackling. It's something that has come out so strongly that I think is probably going to be one of our main priorities. Good. The evening economy.
How, say for example, is King's Quarter linked to this particular strategy? Is that part of that strategy?
That was something that came about as key for residents, obviously, for many reasons, and the continuing of the regeneration is in the city vision. There is a city plan which is talking about the physical side of the city, which is out for consultation at the same time, and that touches on King's Quarter as an area of interest. I don't know the specifics about the details of that arrangement myself.
About to get my bit of paper out to write it all down, so I won't ask you.
I know as much as everyone else does what it was in the paper. There aren't any firm plans on the table yet. The plans that are out there, we're in consultation talking with. That was the first sort of plan that was out there, so I can't answer any more than that.
Okay.
I'd be waffling on
if
I did.
That's absolutely fine. Okay, so your action groups, they're going to be set up as of,
I think, by the new year, realistically.
Right, and so they'll oversee the actions that take place. How are they going to be, I'm asking lots of questions, aren't I? How are those actions going to be monitored and regulated?
They will be accountable to the board on a quarterly basis, so they'll be doing constant performance monitoring of those actions, even if it's just an update to say we're progressing it, there's nothing to report at the moment, just so we know where those groups are with things. I will be directly involved in those groups and on the board as an advisee, so I can pass this information across, and the chairs of those groups will be there presenting to the board. That gets sort of taken back to our councillors as well, so there's accountability to the people who are elected and to our other public sector organisations. There is accountability all round. Previously there was this sort of performance reporting to the county council, but under the new government we don't have that, so it's making sure that residents know what we're doing and that we're accountable to them, so it's up for residents to really push these things through as well. Okay
then, so there is more opportunity for involvement for residents in Gloucester City. Feedback, one of the bits of feedback you said so far has been very clear, the lack of the nighttime economy for a certain age group. What else are you hearing at the moment?
I think obviously the city centre and its shops comes up quite a lot, and I think there are plans afoot with Marks and Spencer's moving things that could see the city centre improve, but that and the evening economy comes through so strongly every time. People are also passionate about having a happy, healthy communities in the city, and that's quite nice to see that people are thinking about their local community as well as the city as a whole. And crime levels come up a lot as well, the perception and fear of crime, and I think that's about educated people. Gloucester has one of the lowest crime rates across the country, but that perception and fear of crime is still there, so how can we go about tackling that? So they're some of the key things that are coming out. It's been quite interesting, some people's opinions. So some people want to like here on Railway Triangle. There's lots of different things that come out, some of which are brilliant ideas, some of which, you know, might not be feasible, but every idea is a good idea until we can test it and see if it will work.
Yeah, okay. Some open air performance area would be very nice indeed.
I've heard that as well in a theatre. A lot of young people said they like to see a proper theatre in the city.
Yeah, and some open air where artists can showcase their talent, and we can bring some bigger artists into the city and play. And bring money and regenerate the money into the city. That would be really good. Right, I thought somebody was emailing about our discussion, but they're emailing about something else. I won't read that out for now. Leave that one for later. So, and Lorna, thank you very much for coming in. But before you go, just a quick reminder to people where they can go to participate in the consultation, your websites, and the telephone contact for yourself if people want to have a chat with you.
If you want to have a look at the document and do the online questionnaire, please visit www.gloucesterpartnership.org.uk. It can also be found on the City Council site. If you want to give me a call directly to talk about it, please call 396983 or email me on community.strategy@gloucester.gov.uk. We'll also be at the Guildhall on the 26th between 11 and 3, so come along and you can do a questionnaire face-to-face with us and we can talk it through in more detail with you. And if you want to see a hard copy and you're not in town on the 26th, you can pick up hard copies at the Guildhall, the Tourist Information Centre, any library, and at the Docks City Council base. So yeah, come along. It'd be great.
Brilliant. We did have an email in and text in, and it says, can we ask that more agencies use GFM to talk to the community? And then I had a subsequent text to that, and it's asking, can GFM be included in the action planning? I think they're talking about the actual action planning groups. So I'll just put that button back to you, Lorna.
Yeah, I think GFM is a perfect place for people to come along and promote their message so you can hear what we're doing and get involved, and I'm happy to take that back. I've got about 400 or 500 different contacts across the city, so it'd be enough to fill many community link shows if they came on board. I think that's a fantastic idea, and I would welcome GFM to be involved. The work you do here is fantastic, and I think it would fit in very well with some of the plans we have going forward, so I think that's a very good second idea as well.
Okay, so I think that what that person's referring to, you know, the action planning groups that you have, they're asking if GFM can be part of that because they're in a position to be able to disseminate the information as well. So is that something that's possible, or is it? Yeah,
it's entirely possible, and I do speak to Carol. She's the reason I've been here the last few times, so she's invited me along. Okay, so I can progress that and speak to Carol about how we can that
because
more.
Somebody's asking for GFM and Carol and several of us to do a fair bit of work there. Good idea, however, and you know, we do take seriously when people do send in information and make requests and make suggestions. We do take those seriously and make efforts to follow those up. So thank you very much for that, Texter. Thank you very much, Lorna, for coming in today.
Thanks for having me again.
Okay, and we will I'll see you before Rihanna, because we're going to need you to come back and give us a final outline of the outcome of the consultation.
That'd be fantastic.
So brilliant. Thank you very much.
Music, news, information, advice. GFM, GFM, GFM.